The country's top real estate photographers are switching to AI editing. And this is something we need to talk about. Today, we're going to just completely go through why top real estate photographers are switching to AI editing in 2026. This has been a huge shift in the last, since the beginning of the year, the last quarter or so, and even a little bit before that, where we really saw all this start to come into play. My name is Don Cavanaugh. I'm the owner of Seven Roads Media. We're located in Western Massachusetts, and we have been using AI photo editing for well over a year now. We absolutely love it. I get a ton of questions on this, and today I wanted to go over some of the questions that I get and why the industry is switching over to AI. So the old editing model is dead. Right now, same day delivery is an option. It's something that you can provide to your clients. It's a unique value proposition that you can provide and differentiate yourself from your competitors. And it's totally doable with AI photo editing now. You get the same consistency. There's no outsourcing headaches where there's back and forth with the editors. Sometimes they're not sending everything, or you have a specific client that needs a specific style, or their brand is a little bit different and you're going back and forth. And then just the old, they're not checking the verticals, or things are blown out, or the white balance is off. So AI photo editing can handle all of that, generally speaking, the same time. But there are so many tools now, especially with tools like Auto HDR, which is what we use, that you can do it right inside of the software, right inside of the platform, to the point where we very, very, very rarely even use Photoshop anymore. So here's everything you need to know. I'm going to post this in the description so you can kind of go through it. But in 2024, actually, we switched over, I think it was January of 2025. So relatively speaking, in 2024, we were still emailing Dropbox links to our photo editors. We would, send payments through PayPal or Wise, which was what most people were doing, outsourcing them and then going through the dance where, we'd send them, they'd send them back, we'd need a correction, we'd send them back, and it was just this dance back and forth. So in 2024, we were still doing that. In 2025, January, February, we cut that entirely. Initially we went straight over to Auto HDR. We would deliver in the morning, and then back in January of this year, it is now April, we started same day delivery by 7 p.m. So we're in the busy season now. We're still able to get all of our photos back to our clients by 7 p.m. They are absolutely floored by it. It is such a game changer for us because it's a competitive advantage, and it allows us to, keep our cash flow going. The day we shoot is the day we get paid, which is another kind of caveat to it, another little bonus. But in 2024, we're doing that dance. We'd get them back in the morning, but we'd have to QC them and send them back early afternoon, sometimes late afternoon. In 2025, we cut that entirely. 2026, we're down to 7 p.m. delivery. This is not an exception. AI editing is the why, it's the how. This is what we do. So the old way was quietly killing your business. Most people don't really understand how much time it takes to do that back and forth. You're under these deadlines. You're trying to, make these promises to agents. And when you're doing it the old way, you don't necessarily understand that there's a time suck involved. And it isn't just money. It is that time. You can oftentimes see that consistency is failing. And the client trust, if you say, hey, I'm going to have your photos back early morning or first thing in the morning, but you don't get them back until the afternoon, you're losing the trust of the client, which is a huge thing, right? Especially in this industry where we're a service industry, we're almost a hospitality industry. We want to make sure that we can establish that trust quickly and we can execute on it every single time. So basically the old way, you shoot the listing, you put the photos in Dropbox, you send them over, the next morning you get them back. Maybe they look great, maybe they don't. And that's where that dance comes in. The editors have different monitors. They have different interpretations of like what bright is, what, saturation, or what a little color pop is. And that can change from shoot to shoot the same day. You're getting different editors, the same camera, the same person's shooting, especially if you're doing flips. And up here in New England, we have the gray walls with white trim flips. And, you could shoot the same flip or the same client, different flips, and they just come out differently. The grays are different. So you're losing time. You're losing 12 to 18 hours if you're uploading, say at 5 p.m., but you can't deliver until later the next morning. You're losing that time. The average overnight turnaround with overseas editors, that dead time you can't sell, right? You can't use that as a unique value proposition. You can't use that to increase what you're charging. 0% style guarantee. And this is what I just said about different ideas of what bright or natural or, that color pop is. Auto HDR for us gets it right every single time. On occasion, I had an agent the other day that was like, I like a little bit of pop, but not overly saturated. So we just, change the global settings for that one and change the back. $0 value add. Editing time you pay for doesn't make you more money, right? So if you're delivering that same day, you can charge more for it. Agents don't care about your editing process. This is something that really sometimes I think people put a little bit too much emphasis on. They don't care about your editing process. They just want their photos back. And when we can deliver them the same day by 7 p.m., amazing, right? Here it is. The tech finally caught up. You have teams that are going in there. They're understanding machine learning. They're utilizing this to help us help our clients. And in turn, what's happening is the speed is, the benchmark, the standard is being raised instead of lowered, which is always a good thing. And there's no more like close enough, right? Like you send it to an editor, like, you know what? It's good enough. We're just going to send it to the client. There's no more of that because you get the same consistency every single time. And again, with Auto HDR for us, you can change settings. You can change global settings. You can make it your style specifically. So every time that you upload, your outputs, what you're downloading is going to look the same. This isn't cost-cutting move, right? It definitely helps with that. We've saved a tremendous amount of money. We cut it by a third. We still have a QC, in-house QC that does that, although the AI is going to catch up to that pretty soon. But this is a quality upgrade, and this is actually a way where you can increase your margins by raising your prices or charging more for same day. So here are 5 reasons why the top photographers in the US, across the world really, are making this move. Same day delivery changes the agent relationship. We talked about trust before. When you can get stuff back by 7 p.m. on the day that you shoot it, it's a great conversation piece, but it also changes that relationship. It makes you to be a more trustworthy partner in their quest to build their career. Consistency becomes your brand. Again, Auto HDR, you can make those global changes and save them so that consistency across the board, even if you're using the default, which we use most of the time, honestly, that helps your brand. Like, hey, every time Seven Roads or every time this agency gets me my photos back, they always look the same. They're nice and crisp and they're bright, and you get that window pull that isn't overly saturated. It's really good. It's just that consistency is crazy. You stop managing people and start managing systems. This is really the big play if you're scaling your agency. You need to build your agency so that it's running on systems and you have people that are managing the systems, but you're not managing the people, right? You're not managing the editors. You're not saying like, hey, these photos didn't come back the way that we expected, blah, blah, blah. You're managing this system, and the system is Auto HDR is going to give you the same consistency every time. So the system that you're building, that workflow, is going to make you more efficient. It's going to increase your consistency. It's going to make your quality control better. It's going to make your revisions less. The system is where you're going to win. Pay per download means 0 subscription risk. This is big. This was big for us when we were making that transition. We were able to put a whole 2 weeks worth of shoots into Auto HDR and look at them without downloading them and compare them to what the overseas editors were sending back for outputs. And Auto HDR initially was marginally better, but we were saving money on it. Now it's markedly better. And we're not only saving money, we're just getting better results. Your competitors are already doing this. There are so many options out there for this type of AI editing that your competitors are already doing. Even some of the overseas editors are utilizing these systems, and you're sending them to a third party, the overseas editor. They're sending them to Auto HDR or whatever, and they're sending them back to you. So the industry this is already mainstream. So you should be doing it if you aren't already, but this is why people are doing it. Here's the old model versus the new model. The old model, you're getting 12 to 18 hours turnaround for overnight. AI, same day by 7 p.m., massive win, right? And you can alter that. You can do 9 p.m., you can do 5 p.m., whatever works for you. Consistency, it varies by the editor, it varies by the screen. Auto HDR is the same look every single time. Cost structure, pay per image, revision sometimes you got to pay for. Auto HDR is just pay per download, right? You check it out, you make adjustments, you download it, perfect. Management required, super high for sending them to overseas, making notes or, just that back and forth, super high. AI, auto HDR, 0. You upload, you download, you have your QC, do the QC right inside of auto HDR. Amazing. Scalability, linear, more volume equals more management. For overseas editing, auto HDR, non-linear. Volume changes nothing. You just add it, right? It just goes down. The volume is going to change the back end for your QC, but it's not going to change the front end very much. Revision risk, we had common issues depending on, honestly, who did it. We were using a larger agency. Auto HDR, we very rarely have any sort of revision. If we do, we can generally make the revision right inside of it. Style, hard to maintain inside or with an overseas editor. In auto HDR, it's the same every single time. Here's your actual workflow in 4 steps. You shoot the listing, you upload it to HDR, you review them, QC even right inside auto HDR, you download and you deliver. There's no upload, send the email with notes, you get them back, you look at them. Like it cuts out almost an entire department. Here are some objections that I hear often. I'm just going to briefly go over them. There's some things that I've heard when talking to people about auto HDR, and it definitely doesn't hold true. AI can't match my style. You can make adjustments right inside of auto HDR to match your style. That's not even part of the discussion anymore. I need human eyes on complex shots, window pull, sky replacement, tricky interiors. AI can do it all. Right? You need to see the view, make sure your settings are right. You're utilizing the settings that are going to work best for auto HDR, and you're going to get your window pull to show the view. I already have an editor I trust. That's great, but you're losing money. In this industry, your margins are super thin. So you need to really understand what levers you pull and how those levers are going to affect your margin. And your margin is going to obviously help with your profit and help when it comes time to put more money in your pocket. I don't want to pay a description. Auto HDR, you can do it without a subscription. We have one. We buy in bulk, if you will. And you can see in here, like right now, we have 15,000 photos ready to go, which is going to get us through probably the next month or so. But there's no subscription if you don't want one. You can easily just jump in here and download and pay for what you're downloading. But there's no subscription. There's no need to worry about that. My clients won't notice the difference. They don't notice the editing, right? They're just, oh, hey, this looks great. We had one client when we made the switch say, hey, they looked a little brighter. Okay, perfect. We made an adjustment and we went from there. This is actually a screenshot that I took that I had missed when I shot. It's just a basic chick coop that the agent wanted. And I think my bandwidth is struggling here a little bit. But you can see this was a screenshot, and we can jump right in here and we can make adjustments there. We got a lot going on here. So we're going to see if we can grab one here. For this one, auto remove, like you can QC right inside of here. So you're not spending time downloading in Photoshop. I did kind of screw up a little bit there, but I wanted to show you how, this wouldn't necessarily be an accurate representation. So we wouldn't deliver this, but if you had that, somebody's like, oh, hey, we need that removed. This is going to do it. What's going to happen is it's going to pop back and push it back into that gallery while it's doing this. And you're going to see this here. And in a few minutes, it's going to come back and it's going to be just about perfect. It's definitely be good enough to send to your clients. What same day delivery actually unlocks? I'm just going to click back here and see how quick it is. Again, we're getting a little bit of a bandwidth issue, but it's not just about your editing speed. You're removing that bottleneck, but you can raise your prices. You can scale your team. You can minimize your workflow or at least make it more efficient. and you thin out some bottlenecks, right? Delivering same day, that's a unique value proposition. You can charge more, you can raise your prices, or you can charge more for rush delivery if you want. We just raised our prices. It's really been such a wonderful thing for us to be able to transition over to auto HDR. The consistency, the workflow. This is why everybody is switching over. The top photographers in the industry are switching over. If you want to try this on your own, you can click on the link in the bio and you can utilize some free credits through my affiliation with Auto HDR. I use Auto HDR. My agency uses Auto HDR for every single listing, and we have been for over a year. I can't recommend it enough. If you have any questions about Auto HDR, I was hoping to get back into this, but again, we're getting some bandwidth issues here. Try it out for yourself. You don't need me to show you on slow internet. You can try it out for yourself. And remember, you only pay when you download. So you can upload a full day's worth of shoots. You can go through it. You can send it to your overseas editor and you can compare when you get them back. But it's definitely been a game changer for us. Our average order value is going up. We're getting more bookings and our workflow is so much faster. So any questions, please feel free to drop me a comment. Happy to answer them. And if you're looking for some free credits, just click the link in the description. Thanks so much. Have a great day.